Hey everybody, it's Skylar and I'm back with another video, and this time we are doing not a pregnancy update for my current pregnancy, but it is going to be a sort of pregnancy journey and birth story on my daughter who, well, this is my second daughter, but I have my first daughter who is our firstborn, and then my son was our second born, and so I'm going to do her birth story. Her name is Lexus, and then I'm going to do his birth story, hopefully, at some point in the near future. So you are literally sitting in a laundry basket of clean clothes in my laundry room because I don't have any professional camera recording equipment or anything like that. So we're making do. You see all my clutter in the background of a closet, and I'm literally sitting on the floor, 6 months pregnant, super uncomfortable, and it's like 10 o'clock at night. But I finally found the time to record another video. The next video that we will be doing in the next few days, hopefully, is going to be the 24-week pregnancy update, which I just turned 24 weeks today, so I'm giving it a couple of days for me to experience those 24-week symptoms or side effects or whatever I'm going to be experiencing, to be able to update you on those. And I will also include a life update, a moving update in that pregnancy update video. So definitely watch out for that, and when that one comes out, you will be able to kind of like know what I know about whether or not we're moving right now, because I don't know, I'm just going to update you sort of in real time because I only know a little bit, so I'm just going to tell you what I know. But anyway, so I'm not going to update you on that this time. I did have a question, and I can't remember the exact username of who asked it, and I apologize, but they asked if I had any, like, with this pregnancy or in my last pregnancies, if I've had any issues with like gas or passing gas or anything like that in my last pregnancies or this one. And the answer is yes. With pregnancy, your body changes so much, your organs move around, and it causes a lot of, like, everything is squished together, and it's hard for you to like, air bubbles get stuck like in your stomach and your sides and in your back and everywhere else that they're not supposed to get stuck, and so I have problems with gas bubbles in my stomach, and sometimes like way up here in my rib cage. Actually, this was on I'll tell you about this because this is related to Lexus's pregnancy journey / birth story. I was eating at Chili's. It was my last date night with my husband before we became parents, since she was our first child. I was like 37 or 38 weeks pregnant, and I was induced at 39 weeks 5 days, I think. And so we were sitting at Chili's, and I'd ordered something that was really, really good, and I was craving avocados, and it's like a chicken avocado bacon sandwich or something like that from Chili's, and it was like, it tasted really good, but like I couldn't even eat it, and I was so nauseated when it came out because I had this gas bubble like way up here in my rib cage, and I was having to like sit here and breathe, and it was cramping so bad, but I didn't feel like I needed to like get it out or anything, because it wouldn't come out. But I think also they were asking, like, did you have to pass gas a lot during pregnancy? And the answer is yes. Like I said, your body changes, your ligaments and your muscles are more loose, and that also allows for more gas to try to pass. So I'm sorry I did not answer that question last time. In my last video, I actually forgot. I think I recorded 2 videos since then, and those were like random videos that I totally didn't even expect to record. But I'm sorry I didn't answer those in my last one. So I'll go ahead and, if I can remember, I will include your username, is that what it's called? Somewhere down here, if I haven't already included it. YouTube name, something like that. What is it called? I don't know what it's called, but I'll try to include that and like give you a shout out. They asked me to answer this in a video. And so I was like, okay, and then I just like forgot. So I'm really sorry. But anyway, let's go ahead and get on with the video. I feel super awkward because I think I'm talking about a certain person, and I think it's a girl that asked the question. And I wanted to say she, but then I said they because I wasn't sure if it was a girl or not, and I didn't want to like say it was a girl if it was a boy. Anyway, I'm really sorry. It's hard to tell unless I like go on your profile and look at your picture, and sometimes I just don't like remember to do that. So anyway, I'm really sorry. I hope you don't hate me or think that I'm weird, or I hope I didn't embarrass you. But anyway, on with the video. So Lexus's pregnancy journey. So obviously she was our first baby. I was 20 when, yes, I was 20 whenever she was born, I think. I might have been 21. No, I was 20 when she was born. I had actually just turned 20 whenever we conceived her. I think it was like 3 days before my birthday whenever I went back and looked. And we had wanted to start a family for a little while. We'd been married. I was like 19 and I think he was 18 whenever we got married. I need to introduce you guys to my husband. His name is Chris, but I feel like he would be really awkward on the camera and I would be really awkward with him there. I don't know if y'all do YouTube and you're watching this and you're like, you know, you put your husband in the video, but I just feel like I'd be really awkward because I don't even know if he knows I still have a channel. I don't even know, like, because he knew I was going to start one. I don't know if he knew what I was going to be doing on it. But I don't know if he still knows I have a channel. But anyway, so we got married whenever he was 18, I was 19. This was back in 2013 in December. So he was about to turn 19. It was like a month before his birthday and a month after my birthday. So I'm like 2 or 3 months older than him, not very much. And I remember I found out, actually, my period was extremely irregular. It's kind of a weird story. And I did not know I was pregnant until I was like 8 weeks. And that's pretty late. Most of the time people find out when they're like 4 to 6 weeks. But I was 8 weeks, and the only reason why I took a test is because I'd felt sick for a while. And when I say sick, I mean like could not get out of bed. Horrible. Just like so hungry but couldn't eat, so nauseous, so shaky, just acid in my chest and my throat, and just horrible. Of course, I had not been pregnant and had morning sickness ever, so did not know that that's what that was. But I did not find out until January. So I'd conceived in November, which would mean that I could have found out in sometime like early December, I think it would have been. Or maybe like mid-December, I'm not really 100% sure, but I found out sometime in like January, late January, and it was around my husband's birthday, and I think it would have been around 8 weeks, I'm not exactly sure, but it was late. Either way, it was late whenever I found out. And so I had been feeling sick. I had to miss work a couple of times and miss school. I was going to community college at the time, and it was just so bad that I couldn't even like be awake. I had to sleep like all the time for a solid like 2 weeks. I just like slept and tried to eat whenever I could and felt horrible. So we were in the dollar store, and he was like, we were passing by something. It was in the women's section, and we were just like passing by, and I wasn't even planning on like going through that section. It was just the route that I took. I didn't need to go through there. But he like stopped and pointed up at the pregnancy test, and I was like, why do I need a pregnancy test? You know, like I haven't had a period in forever, and I never have my period. Like, why would I be pregnant, you know? And I secretly was like, oh, I really hope that, you know, I would get pregnant. It's not that I was like, I don't want to be pregnant, but I was just doubtful that I was, because my period was so irregular. And so he pointed up at the test, and I asked that question, and he's like, well, you've been feeling really bad, you know, just take a test. And I was like, okay. So we bought like 1 or 2, and I went home, didn't take them, didn't think I was pregnant, like didn't expect it at all. And this was probably like afternoon. Well, didn't even take the test. And then that night, it was actually like, I think it was right before I woke up at like 5 a.m. I had a dream that I took a test and it was positive. And it was very realistic. Very, like, what do they call it? Vivid. Like, I felt the emotions in the dream, and it was just super weird. And so, I woke up as soon as that dream ended, and I saw the positive on the test. And so, my husband was about to leave for work, and I got up and went to the bathroom and peed in a cup and just, like, didn't even tell him. And when he left, I took the test. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, why would I have that dream? That's so weird. So it was one of the tests that you, like, the really cheap, like, 88-cent ones from the Dollar General. And so I, like, dipped and then put the drops on the test. And immediately, it was dark purple, immediately. And I just sat there panicking in a good way. But I just could not believe it. I was just completely in shock, just, like, out of breath. And I just remember saying a prayer saying, thank you, God, because I just couldn't believe it. And so I had to go to work. I actually had to go to class in a couple of hours. And I wound up being late for class because I went to Walmart and bought like 5 more tests. And they were a lot of different brands. One of them was a digital clear blue that said like pregnant so many weeks, and then there was a first response and then a couple other ones. And I peed again because I think I like dumped the other urine out. But I went to the bathroom again and in a cup, and then I dipped all those. So I just went to the bathroom like an hour and a half before that. And so it was not diluted, or it was like diluted, I guess. It wasn't really like first morning urine at all. And so I dipped all of those tests, and they all immediately came back positive. They were all really dark purple or pink lines, whatever you want to call it, immediately, and then the clear blue immediately popped up, and it said like the maximum pregnant 4+ weeks or whatever it was, or pregnant 6+ weeks or something. And so I put all of those tests in a which I think I picked this up at Walmart too whenever I went. But I put all of those tests in a gift bag, wrapped them up in tissue paper, and put the tissue paper up like a present, because it was my husband's, I think it was like 3 days before his birthday or a week before his birthday. And so I told him that I had a surprise for him for his birthday, and I sent him a text. And he had no idea. So I went to class, waited until it was like 4 or 5 o'clock, and I could not wait any longer. Finally, he had gotten off work, and I was at home. And so he opened the present, and he saw the first one, and he looked at it, and he was like, all of them? And he just like couldn't believe it, because he saw that it was positive and was wondering if all of them are positive. And I just was like, yeah, you know, and gave him a big hug. And then I know I cried. I don't know if he cried, but I think he did. This was 5 years ago, actually 6 years ago now, because you're pregnant for like 9 months, so it was almost 6 years ago. But it was just the sweetest thing ever. I had to tell you that story because it was so sweet. Anyway, so the pregnancy journey. I was extremely sick with Lexus for at least 2 straight weeks. I wasn't very sick after that. That's kind of like why I took the test, like I said. I had a lot of heartburn in that pregnancy. I had to eat, like, snack on something every hour or 2 hours, or I would get sick, like, most of the time in the first trimester. But it was like that for my other 2 pregnancies also, whether it was a boy or a girl. And, let's see. We did a gender reveal, and we did like the cake where we did M&Ms inside the cake, and then when you cut it, it spilled out the color pink or blue, and it was pink, of course. So I made the cake, and like when you opened it, the M&Ms like spilled out pink, and we did like a party, and it was cute. That's the only gender reveal party I've ever done. With Corona, of course, it's hard to do this one, gender reveal with this pregnancy, of course. But I was working at a gas station at the time during this pregnancy, and I didn't have to like walk around and lift. I just had to stand a lot. So I was really, really tired. Like my feet hurt from standing up. My ankles got really swollen, and when I say really swollen, I mean like softball size swollen. They were horribly swollen toward the end of my pregnancy, we lived in an apartment complex, and so toward the end of the pregnancy, I would like walk the driveway. It was like this huge, long, like paved parking lot, and so I'd just walk and walk and walk. And I thought I was going to go into labor before, 39 to 40 weeks, but I never did. I was dilated to like a 2 or a 3 by 38.5 weeks. Still didn't go into labor. Had my membrane strips. Still didn't go to labor. Ate pineapple. Bounced on a yoga ball repeatedly. Had sex repeatedly. Did everything that I could possibly think of besides castor oil. I did not try that. Did the acupressure points, like where you find, I think there's one, maybe like right here and like on your foot, kind of in this area on your foot, like if your ankle's right here, like behind your ankle, there's acupressure points there. There's acupressure points in your actual feet. Did all of those, and I had a lot of Braxton Hicks, but I just never went into labor. So at my, I think it was 38-week appointment, I asked my doctor, I was like, I'm miserable. It was August. I am miserable. I just can't take this anymore. I'm about to die. There was no room in my stomach. I literally felt like I was about to die. There was no room. I looked like and I tell everyone this because it's literal. Like, people think I'm just making a joke, but I'm not. There was like a bust on the front of my stomach. I mean, like, it wasn't just like, and I don't know why I use a bus as reference. Maybe because buses are longer than normal cars, but like, it was just so long, just so much belly, that I don't even know how I was walking around. Looking back at pictures, I'm like, that's unnatural. How did I even walk around and look like that? And I worked up to like 37 weeks. I think it was 37 or 36.5 weeks. I planned on working longer than that, but I could not do it. I just couldn't. I was just so exhausted. Everything hurt so bad. Of course, it was August. Her due date was August 27th, but she was born on the 24th. So we were like 39 and 6 days, I think. No, wait, yeah, 39.5 days? I don't know. Maybe it's 39.5. I can't do math right now. But anyway, so I told him that I was so miserable. And he was like, I normally don't like to do inductions, but we've got like an 8 or 9 pound baby in here. Like, I guess we could go ahead and schedule an induction for sometime during your 39th week. And if you go into labor before then, great. I'll go ahead and strip your membranes. And I think he did it twice. And nothing ever happened. But when we went into the hospital to be induced, it was like 5 a.m. I think it was on like a Monday or a Wednesday. And we did Pitocin. I had that group B strep thing. I don't know even what that is, but I felt so disgusting. I remember feeling like I was dirty or something because I had that, but a lot of women have it. Had to be on antibiotics for that. So don't feel bad if you have that, because lots of people have it. I felt bad, but whatever. I didn't have it with my second. Don't know why. Whatever. You can't help it. But anyway, so had to have antibiotics for that and an IV. I want to say that they came in and broke my water when I was dilated to a 4, and that was like 10 o'clock. But they didn't actually start the Pitocin until like 6 or 7 a.m. because I had to do paperwork, and they had to get everything set up and everything. The doctor had to come in, whatever. So I think he broke my water at like 10 a.m. and then the contractions got really, 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 really bad, really intense. I thought I was going to give birth like right then because it was so horrible. I waited until as long as I possibly could to get my epidural, but I wish that I would have just said, as soon as I said I could, just gone ahead and did it, because it was so horrible having those absolutely excruciatingly painful contractions while you're trying to get an epidural, and they make you scrunch forward. Like, you got this huge belly, and they're like, stick your spine out as far as you possibly can, and you're like, I can't bend forward. I don't have any room. But I had to like hug this pillow, and I was getting so nauseous during the process of the epidural, and so hot and so just dizzy that I had to have someone hold me up. It was the nurse there, and my husband couldn't be in the room because it's like anesthesia or whatever, and they don't want to contaminate the needles or whatever. But he couldn't be in the room. She had to hold a bedpan up to me, and I was going to throw up. I never did. Lots of people do. I was thankful I never did. But It was so bad that I just kind of wish I could throw up so I'd feel better, maybe, if that would make me feel better. But the anesthesiologist came in, and bless him, I feel bad for saying this, but this is a valid part of the birth story. He was probably like 85 years old. He was so old. I mean, like, he looked old. He looked like he was like, I don't know, 85. I don't know how old he was, but he looked like he was 85 or 90 or, I don't know, 100 years old. He looked so old. And I say that because this guy was like stereotypical old guy. And I love old people. And I'm not saying I didn't like this guy, but he was just so old that when he came in, I was like, the first thought during my contractions that I have, I was like, why are you not retired? I didn't say that, but I was thinking like, you're an anesthesiologist. Why are you not retired? But he might have just had like a boring life and didn't want to go home and do nothing. But anyway, so he was like really shaky, and he looked kind of like he might have arthritis, and I felt sorry for the guy because his hands didn't seem quite normal. And I remember seeing his elbows and like where his, because he was bent like this, like getting stuff off of the table, and his elbow on the corner stuck out really, really far. And I just remember thinking like, oh my gosh, are you gonna be able to hold the needle steady? I just like feel sorry for you, and I definitely feel sorry for me. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to be making fun of old people. I know that seems wrong, but this is a valid point to the story, okay? So he had to poke me like 7 or 8 times just to get like the numbing to work. And so it took a long time to get this epidural. And it was absolutely awful. It was like the most horrible experience. My husband said whenever he finally was allowed back in the room, after I'd gotten it and it was working, he's like, why did it take so long? This was like a 2-hour thing. And I was like, well, he was in a different room. And then I said, okay, I want my epidural. And then the nurse was like, okay, well, your husband has to leave. Everyone has to leave and get out of here. And it took him like 30 minutes to get from where he was to me. And so part of that 2-hour time, or however long it was him coming to me, but then he had to set up in my room, and then he had to do that epidural. So it was like 2 hours, maybe longer, that he was in there with me. Well, it was probably not 2 hours. It was probably like an hour and a half at least that he was in there with me, if not longer, because he was just saying 2 hours because he didn't know exactly how long, but it seemed like it'd been a really long time, and he knew it had been around 2 hours. So I felt like it shouldn't have taken that long. But anyway, once I got my epidural, I was good. I went to sleep. Like, I took a nap. There was people in there, and I was pretending to be asleep. Like, people were coming to visit me, and I was like, look, I love you, but I'm tired. Bye. Like, I just pretended to be asleep. And, I mean, I just really don't want visitors. I'm sorry if y'all are watching and you're my family. I appreciate you being there, but I just really don't want visitors because I'm trying to, like, push a baby out of my vagina. So it hurts, and it's uncomfortable, and I'm tired. And, like, if you don't want to come to the hospital, don't feel obligated to come to the hospital, because it's just really exhausting for the parents, especially the person giving birth, to have to put on a face like, hi, thanks for coming to see me, when we feel sweaty and ugly, and most of the time we're not wearing makeup, and we're in a lot of pain, or we're really tired, especially if we had to be there at like midnight or 5 o'clock in the morning to be induced. So that's how that went. Well, she was born at like 4:06 or 4:05, I don't remember, 4 o'clock p.m., somewhere around there. And I think they said I was dilated to a 10, and then the doctor came in, and whenever I was ready to push, it was like, I think it took 45 minutes of pushing, and I struggled a little bit because she was a big baby, and I had to have, I think it was a 2nd degree episiotomy, or I was going to tear, and the nurse actually had to get on top of my stomach and like push on it as I was contracting to help her get out of my hips, because she was stuck in between my hips. But that was only for just a second that she had to do that. I was worried she was going to break my ribs or my hips. It was kind of weird. But just needed a little extra help. And she was 10 pounds 1 ounce, and I want to say she was 22 1/4 inches long. Not really 100% sure on that. But yeah, she was in perfect health, perfect condition, big baby. He said, doctor goes, yeah, I thought that was an 8 or 9 pound baby, but it was a 10 pounder. Wow, congratulations to you. And then every person that came, like, into my room, like, there's people, like, nurses and stuff that worked there that was popping in and was like, oh, you're the one with the 10-pound baby. Congratulations. What a woman you are. Like, and I'm like, I told him there was no more room in there, and I knew there was not any more room. Like, she could not have possibly grown in there any longer, any bigger, or I probably would have just died. I mean, it was so awful. And I think my uncle was like 12 pounds, so I don't even know how y'all do it that have bigger than 10-pound babies. Congratulations to you. Goodness, I couldn't do it. Anyway, this video is so long and so, like, unnecessarily long, so I'm so sorry. I'm so tired. I have to go to the bathroom, so I'm going to not do this video anymore and go ahead and end it here. This is the real me. I hope you like it, because this is the real me, and this is what you get whenever I do these weird sit-down videos where I just ramble and talk for 4 hours. I think it's been like 28 minutes. Anyways, so subscribe if you like me. Don't subscribe if you don't. Thank you for subscribing if you have. Give me a thumbs up if you like these videos of me being stupid. I will post, hopefully, the birth story for my son soon. Maybe next week, maybe not this week. But the 24-week pregnancy update is coming in the next couple of days. Definitely subscribe for that. Be looking for that. I'm going to do an update, like I said earlier. If you didn't watch earlier, I'm going to do an update on the are we moving, what's going on with our house kind of thing. Thank you for watching. I will see y'all later.